Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, the church's power, politicians, and abortion. And in the second watch, why tell stories? For our social media question, we ask, do you agree or disagree with Lisa Hanna that the church's political power is stalling progress on reforming abortion laws in Jamaica? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's our quote.
Today's I quote says, if it makes you happy, do it. Unless your wife, says you can't. This one is an unknown quote.
Yeah, I'm happy it's unknown. I'm going to leave that alone. Jukal, morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're talking about the earliest time that person should start setting up Christmas trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to throw in the mix. When is the latest time that person should take them down?
January is good. January.
Yeah, because some people are all in February, you still
the first week of January, take it down.
Yeah. So it's an interesting discussion.
My barber shop still has their garland up from last year. Okay. Do you want? Just say it.
The first watch will be back after this break.
Don't let freshness stitch you when you need it the most. Wash your clothes with Downy Softener to keep dazzling everyone around you from day to night. Try Downy Softener now.
La 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 la. Did you hear that? It is almost Christmas and Switch is having a super solar lighting sale. Yes, you heard right. From now until November 25th, enjoy 20% off your selection of solar wall lamps, garden lights, and solar flood lamps. You can't afford to miss the sale. It is the Frostwick Super Solar Lighting Sale, now until November 25th. Visit us in Kingston, London, Montego Bay, and in Blackside. Shop and save only with Frostwick.
You want to like them right on? You want to put them right on? You want to stand up? Can on your neighbor?
Tired of fighting with tough, stubborn stains? Optimaster has got you covered. Its powerful oxygen-based formula lifts away stains, leaving your fabrics bright and fresh. It's safe on whites and colors and tough on dirt. Whether you hand or machine wash, Optimaster makes everything easy and clean. Available island-wide in 6 handy sizes.
Tell your friend on your neighbor. Use Optimaster. Optimaster makes everything cleaner.
Optimaster, the stain blaster.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, recently, MP Lisa Hanna reportedly stated that her colleague parliamentarians are allowing fear of the church's political power to stall progress on reforming abortion laws in Jamaica. So, what are the issues and implications arising and associated with that statement? To discuss this, we have online the Reverend Prophet Mark Stewart, founder of Jamaica Restoration Breakthrough Prayer Healing Deliverance Ministries, and Father Sean Major Campbell, rector of Christ Church in Vineyard Town and human rights activist. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. That sounds like Reverend Stewart. Good morning, Father Campbell. Are you with us? You're muted, Father Campbell.
Good morning. Good morning to you and viewers, listeners.
Yes, good. Good morning. Good to have you both with us. Now, gentlemen, just for the record, what are your views on abortion? Beginning with you, Father Major Campbell.
Well, first of all, I want to recognize that abortion, it happens naturally, and sometimes it is necessary for medical intervention.
And by natural, a miscarriage, right?
Correct.
Okay, good.
I also want to recognize that one of the things that I appreciate about abortion legislation is that it does not or should not breach the right of the woman by demanding that she has an abortion. It does not call, for example, on Christians to get rid of what they believe and get an abortion. So, in other words, if you do not believe in it at all, don't get it. Just like with a divorce, if you don't believe divorce should be had under any circumstances, don't do it. So I want to recognize that freedom of choice and that free will that we often talk about, that is to be respected and regarded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you through, Father Campbell, for the time being?
For now.
Okay, good. All right, Reverend Mark Stewart, your take on that. What are your views on abortion?
Good morning again. Good morning, listeners. Where the church has had its stands for a long time on the issue of abortion laws in Jamaica. I'm not surprised that Lisa Anna is not the first. When her government was in power, it's something that she tried to do, and it was the church that stood in the way of her getting her way on that. But the church has always said that it is circumstantial where abortion is concerned, and it should not be that a government makes laws that governs these things. It should be between a family and the doctors to determine whether or not, depends on what the circumstances and the situation surrounding the pregnancy, whether it be a medical issue, maybe a case of rape or incest, and there's a decision to do an early termination, probably before it becomes a fetus, before it becomes a child in the womb. So we have always had the stance that, listen, it depends on where that child, where that pregnancy is at, and what is the circumstance that surround it. Between the doctor and the patient, there can be some decision as to what's best for the mother and the child at the time. But it must not be a case where a government is going to decide that, listen, a woman can do whatever she chooses or whatever she feels at any time with an unwanted pregnancy.
Yeah. So Reverend Stewart, of course, I'd ask your personal view on it. You mentioned the church and the church and the church.
Yeah. My personal view is exactly what the church's stance is and what I just shared. That depends on what the circumstance and the situation surrounding the pregnancy at the early stage, at the very early stage before it becomes, it has different stages of development.
Before it becomes what? A human being?
And a child in the womb. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, but are you saying that for medical reasons, for rape and for incest, it is permissible?
Yeah, for example, a woman gets pregnant, she's having serious complicated issues that will threaten her life. Yeah, threaten her life, and it can be upon
It's
doctor's
okay in that case.
recommendation. Yeah, in
And,
that
and,
kind of
and if a child, if someone is raped, a female is raped, it's
the
okay.
female is raped and the family, and depending on the age again, and the family and the doctor determines that, listen, this child is not in a position to carry a baby at this time, and it's not a case where it's gone 3 months, 4 months, 2 months.
No, forget about the doctor for the time being. Somebody, a woman is raped.
Yeah.
If abortion
And she decides, listen, I don't want to carry this. I don't want to carry it.
You're saying that's permissible.
Yes.
In the case of incest, you are saying that's permissible, regardless of the age of the victim.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Father Sean Major, were those your views in terms of those 3 parameters?
No. In fact, there's some of that I find problematic. I believe unless a woman is having mental challenges, as in terms of retardation or severe mental illness, we should not limit her right to choose on the basis of incest and rape, because that becomes an immoral proposal, because what it is saying is that a woman's agency and her access to her right to choose can only be activated in the moment that she is violated. So she has to be violated before she's able to exercise agency over her own body.
So you are saying violated in terms of perhaps rape and incest. You
Yes.
not agree to abortion being done necessarily.
That's not what I said. Let me go again.
Right.
I believe she should be able to make that choice and be able to exercise the right of and the agency in terms of bodily autonomy.
But that's what I'm saying.
And that should exist, and that should happen regardless of whether or not she was raped or got pregnant through incest.
No.
In other words, we shouldn't wait for her to be violated before she's able to make a choice.
Reverend Stewart, you're saying that's what you're saying.
Well, no. I just got what he's saying. I'm saying, listen, a person who have consensual sexual encounter and got pregnant, it shouldn't be a case where that woman gets up and decide, listen, I'm going to terminate this thing. But if it's a case where she has been violated, a child, a young girl at 14, 15, at that age and stage, there has to be something in place that protects such a one from having to carry that burden and that pregnancy. If that child decides and that family decide, listen, we want her to carry it, then fine. But if it's a case where the vulnerability of that child, not being able to consent and didn't want to, then there should be something in place to give her that opportunity to choose at an early stage.
I'm just wondering though, what makes the fact of rape and incest more, what makes abortion more justifiable in those cases? Are we not dealing with a life?
Yeah, we're dealing with a life. I mean, if you notice, I carefully says it depends on the stage, because there's different stage of development with the cycle of a child in a mother's womb. So I'm saying if a person is raped yesterday and by the end of the week is deemed to be pregnant and decide, listen, I don't want to having to deal with this and carry this, then there should be something. But if that prolongs into weeks and months and that child develops, then that's a different case. That's what I'm saying.
Hold that thought, Reverend Stewart and Major Campbell, Father Major Campbell. We are up on a break. We'll be right back.
Save on your PSA and pap smear tests with your NHF card. Get $1,600 off your PSA test and $1,300 off your pap smear test. Apply for the NHF card today. The time by the National Health Fund is
7:15.
The report is out.
What report?
The Constitutional Reform Committee's report of recommendations
Recommendations on what?
on how we move from a monarchy to a republic, of course.
So what's in it?
The creation of the office of president and changes to our parliament. Yes, man. It also includes a new qualification for membership in parliament. I know you want to see that one.
Read the full report at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm.
We are on the road to republic.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Kay. She loved to dance and play. One day at school, she got very ill, and Mom was left with an unbearable bill. It would be easier if Mom was prepared. With School Companion, 80% of the bill is cleared. Medical care for children is a must. For as low as $2,540 per month, make unbearable medical bills go away. Sign up for Surgical School Companion today. Conditions apply.
When teeth diapers are difficult to change, it's time for Pampers Easy Up. They're easy to put on and take off, keeping their skin protected. When they begin to cry, changes are easy with easy.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and this is the first watch. We are discussing the church's power, politicians, and abortion. And we are doing so with Father Sean Major Campbell and the Reverend Mark Stewart. Before the break, Reverend Stewart, I had interrupted your train of thought. Please continue if you so desire.
Yes. So as I was saying, that it is a circumstantial situation, especially where minors are concerned. Yeah. And I would not want to put a law in place like for somebody of such not to be given that opportunity, and later on there are regrets in terms of the family, the child herself, and that mother. So remember, she did not get up and consent. Rape case, incest case held against their will, where that is concerned, and that is why my stance would be for that person to have that opportunity to make that decision with regards to carrying that. But as I keep on saying, it cannot be at a stage where that child is already developed in the womb. It would have to be a case where it is at a very early, at the very outset of that ordeal, that person would have that opportunity to choose.
Interesting. Father Sean Major Campbell, like to say anything else on that?
Well, as noted already, I believe it is immoral to wait for a woman to be violated before we can affirm her right to such a decision.
Yeah. Your thoughts, gentlemen, on the alleged accusation by MP Lisa Hanna that, quote unquote, her colleague parliamentarians are allowing fear of the church's political power to stall the progress on reforming abortion laws in Jamaica. Reverend Stewart, what do you think?
As I said before, when Lisa Hanna was in power in the government side, she tried to do that very same thing, and it was met with resistance and opposition from the church, and it stalled. Now she's on the opposition side, and I'm guessing she's still trying to push. But what exactly is the government trying to do? What is it? I would be more informed as to what is their stance, what is their position, what laws are they bringing on board that we're talking about. The church has always been the watchdog and the helping to bring moral standards and right to government, to society, and we have that responsibility to continue to do that as the church, to hold the government and the society accountable for anything that we deemed inappropriate against what the Bible teaches and the will of God for a nation.
Yes,
So
and the church is doing her job.
yeah, we are doing our job. So whatever they
Okay.
comes with, it has to be scrutinized by the church, whether it be gambling, whether it be homosexuality, abortion, all these things. As a godly nation, the church has a full responsibility to hold them accountable and to say, hold up here, this is not going to work. This is not, as a nation, this is not what we're about, and this is not part of our moral standing for you to go ahead and want to just do something because you're a government, and we must accept it. You can do other things in the society that doesn't affect our biblical standards and principles as a nation. But once you're going to touch down that line, the church has to play its role and let our voices be heard in such matters.
Father Major Campbell, your take on that?
Yes, just to know that it really is a shame and unfortunate that many parliamentarians actually lack the courage to make certain decisions when they hear various groups speaking in the name of church. And this happens because a significant portion of the voting population comes from church.
Also,
and what we
some of them are in the parliament as well.
correct,
Yes.
correct. And when that is the case, there is the tendency to want to as it were play to the gallery. We must never forget that right here in Jamaica, if the government of the day was waiting on the church to declare that there are no bastards, or waiting on the church to continue to exercise prejudice against people in common law unions, we would still be where we were then, because we will be getting all these arguments. What a part of what is problematic in this conversation over the years is that there are Christians who want others to be criminalized for not observing their doctrine. To be criminalized for not observing their doctrine. What the church should do is to continue to teach what it believes. And if you believe that you should teach your members, hey, you shouldn't do X, you shouldn't do Y, keep on doing it. Because the law, regardless of what the law is not preventing you from doing your teachings.
As you mentioned,
the early church, look here, the early Jesus movement, in fact, the early Christians known as the people of the way, did not operate on a platform of people fearing them. Parliamentarians should not be fearing the church. They should simply be guided by what is right for society.
You had mentioned that
we are not a theocracy.
You had mentioned the laws, Father Major Campbell. The present laws in regards to abortion. Are you in favor of them?
Not at all.
You're not?
No.
And tell us why.
Well, for starters, I believe it is the woman who should know best about her situation in making that decision. Again, I'm reminding us we are not a theocracy, and what these laws do, they actually, as Lisa Hanna noted, promote class disparity and botched terminations. Remember, that what the criminalizing of abortion really does is to allow underground operations. Criminalizing abortion does not prevent abortions. Remember that every week in Jamaica, women, depending on their class and their socioeconomic status, are actually able to access safe abortion. So if you have the money, you can access safe abortion. It will not even be referred to as an abortion in the medical records. Instead, it will be referred to as termination of pregnancy.
But the same argument could be drug use, Father Major Campbell. That underground operations go on because of the prohibitions re drug use. Doesn't mean that the laws in terms of drug use are wrong.
No, but we're talking about two completely different things here.
No,
We know for a fact, we're talking about the lives of people. We know for a fact that women, not only do they still have abortion, but the ones who suffer and are more likely to die from botched abortions are poor women. Because women who can afford to pay for a safe abortion are able to do so without any imprisonment, although that law is there. Because the same medical system, as a matter of fact, within the government system, private doctors who work both in government and privately facilitate same. It's just a termination of pregnancy. And a part of what happens, especially on weekends, many women who get botched abortions done, not unusual for them to get it done on a Friday because they want to make sure they go to their job, they have their work. They do a quick thing on Friday, maybe Friday afternoon or Friday evening. And then the system, the government system, that does not have all the different facilities up and running on the weekend, is then pressured when they come in. And the government system has to fix the problem.
I'm bringing back in Reverend Stewart. Reverend Stewart, your response to that?
Listen, you know, I hear what Father is saying, and it draws me to say that when a country and a nation does not have any moral principles that govern it, especially when we quote unquote godly nation, then we recognize the decay and what is happening in our society, where people can go about and just do any and anything and don't understand the spiritual and the divine consequences for that. Because over the years, my brother, I know of one man named Reverend Earl Thames, God bless his soul, and many others in the ministerial formation who have guided the government on many decisions which regards to these kinds of issues, whether it be, as I said, horse racing, gambling, abortion, homosexuality, some of these things. The church, you know, as a divine part of the state, has that responsibility to say, hey, look, let's hear what God is saying about this as a nation. Let's take this from a godly perspective. We cannot just give people responsibility to say, it's your response. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, there's something that must guide our lives, just as the Bible does. And when we move away from that as a nation, then we are leaving ourselves vulnerable to exactly what is happening in our society, where people feel they have the free will to do anything, anything, destroying the fabric of our principle, our Christian foundation that we were grown up on as a nation. The government must fear the church. They must fear the leaders. It was of the past and it is what it is today. In the olden days, the priests, the prophets, those persons have a responsibility. The leaders of the kings, they had to answer to the priests, to God's servants, and they had to question and get answers from them before they make certain decisions on behalf of the people.
I guess the argument would be that there were theocracies those days. There's a different scenario now.
But now, even though there is more liberal and freedom, there's still, we cannot deviate from those moral principles and law biblically as long as we call ourselves a godly nation.
You know, as you mentioned that though, there are those who argue that debates such as these should not be held in the houses of parliament. That, you know, because of the nature of the debates, the controversy surrounding it, that we should stay clear of that.
We can't stay clear of it. There are people within the framework of the parliament who have those guiding principles that govern them. And of course, why is it that there are some things the government comes to the society to get their feedback and to do their surveys, and the church is a part of that, you know. So we have to, so whenever the government is about to make a law, isn't it that they go to the people and get they don't just make a law and just impress it on the people. The people always have that say in what, especially these very, very ticklish.
Interesting. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Thank you so very much, gentlemen. And I'll get to discussion.
May I just say,
time is on us, Father. We got to go. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Okay. Listeners, the morning watch will return in just a moment.
Time by Jam Bank is
7:30.
Life is precious. Whether you're driving through the hills in the country, the town, or on the highway, remember, slow down and take it easy. Your family and friends are depending on you to get home safe. Speeding may save you minutes, but careful driving saves lives. Since the beginning of this year, 288 people have been killed in 247 crashes, so drive safe.
brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Every day, that's about Christmas thing with you. You can enjoy the best prepaid mobile plans. Big Christmas winning. Win data and credit instantly. Every time you activate any unlimited prepaid plan. Your SMS message to claim your instant gift and get all that chance to win cash, grocery vouchers, and smartphones every week at a $500 grand prize. Christmas thing is wrapped up in winning. Download the Top of the app with the top.com to activate. Win today. Offer until January 2, 2025. Conditions apply.
Ready to experience 6 times more freshness in your clothes? Try Downy Scent Beads. Its fragrance is so amazing, you have to sniff it to believe it. Try Downy Scent Beads today. 6 times more freshness versus using detergent alone.
Always so clean and smell so nice. You never know if there's some fish we use. Nothing else can't touch your clothes. Need some of that in my house. My clothes need so seriously. Stem Fresh give me the ultimate clean. Take out all dirt, oil, and stain quickly. And guess what? Them just get 2 new scents. Floral and fashion. Look like me to go buy some Soil Fresh. Me so come up. Me a go shop. Stem Fresh beats dirt and grime every time. Get yours today.
Distributed by Old Brand Services.
Mama work hard, for real, to be the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. Further my education, and I make mama proud.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. In this segment, we're looking at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Observer, global diabetes rate has doubled in the last 30 years. That's what a study has revealed. Also in the Observer, Entertainment Ministry and Guardian Life partner to launch insurance policy for creatives. In the Gleaner, Agriculture Ministry to undertake pilot using concrete on farm roads. And also in the Gleaner, PBCJ launches exhibition chronicling 100 years of audiovisual history. And in Loop News, NCB flags fake AI video featuring their boss. And finally, in Loop News, cops involved in fatal shooting of 3 men detained. Those are some of the major stories and headlines in our newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. Do you agree or disagree with Lisa Hanna that the church's political power is stalling progress on reforming abortion laws in Jamaica? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We will be right back.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Kay. She loved to dance and play. One day at school, she got very ill, and Mom was left with an unbearable bill. It would be easier if Mom was prepared. With school companion, 80% of the bill is cleared. Medical care for children is a must. For as low as $2,540 per month, make unbearable medical bills go away. Sign up for Surgical School Companion today. Conditions apply.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Don't let freshness stitch you when you need it the most. Wash your clothes with Downy Softener to keep dazzling everyone around you from day to night. Try Downy Softener now.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named...
Okay, welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Jukal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. Do you agree or disagree with Lisa Hanna that the church's political power is stalling progress on reforming abortion laws in Jamaica? Jukal?
All right, Janet Headley says, wow, 3 men discussing what women should do with her body. What happened to separation of church and state? People did not elect the church, they elected the government. All right, another one comes from Sister Bev in Kitson Town. Let's hear from her. All right, until that one loads up. This one says, I don't agree with Lisa. Listening to the first was drained my energy. Such moral decay. What right are you talking about? All right. Somebody else says 2 things. If we legalize abortion, what are we telling the young girls, 12 to 18-year-olds? They are allowed to do as they please with their body. They can have sex and then abort the child if they get pregnant. And number 2 says, we say the country is in crisis because of the low birth rate. If we legalize abortion, the birth rate will even go lower. This is then contradicting not only to the Bible, but also the government's aim to grow the nation. That is not progressive. Therefore, I disagree. We're not stalling any progress. We're standing up for what we believe.
That's a mouthful, eh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, as usual, abortion is an emotive topic.
Mm-hmm.
We want to thank those who responded. We now segue into the second watch. The Storytelling Foundation of Jamaica is set to celebrate the 10th anniversary of National Storytelling Day as the highlight of the 2024 staging of its annual storytelling conference and festival, Nancy Sound Splash. Now, this will mark a decade of heightened efforts by Ntukuma to preserve and promote Jamaica's rich oral traditions. But why tell stories? Why have a decade-long storytelling celebration? Well, to answer these and other related questions, we have online Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks, award-winning writer, actress, storyteller, founder and artistic director of Ntukuma, the Storytelling Foundation of Jamaica, and is it Keisha Bowie Gomez, Colombian storyteller, singer, and actress. Hope I haven't bitten my tongue. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. You bite it, but not too hard. You ever heard about Brother Tukuma?
Yes, I have.
That's in Tukuma.
No problem.
Okay, he's in Tukuma.
Yes,
That's
yes.
how his name is said in his homeland of Ghana.
Yeah,
N
man.
Tukuma. We drop
Yeah.
off the N and just call him Brother Tukuma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Dylan, it's not the National Storytelling Day does not belong to Ntukuma, although we petitioned for it and worked for it. National Storytelling Day is for the whole nation, and that's what we want to see. We want to see you next week, Wednesday morning, telling a story on air. We
Okay.
want our senior citizens to be in touch with our junior citizens, sharing their lived experiences. We want the churches, we want the youth clubs, we want the schools, we want everybody to be telling stories, but not just to be telling stories as a form of superficial entertainment, but to ask ourselves, what does it mean that we have these stories to tell? What kinds of stories do we have to tell? Of course, we have Anansi stories. We have stories in our folk songs that begun as our first newspaper. We have stories about how your mother met your father. Do you even know that? We have stories in the Bible. We have stories such as the ones that you read from the newspaper this morning, which maybe in 10 or 15 years' time will appear as Once Upon a Time. So there are all kinds of stories for all kinds of reasons. Certainly, when I look at the Anansi stories, I see the Sustainable Development Goals. I see food security. I see Anansi always being concerned about feeding others and feeding himself. I see industriousness. I see the animals who live in the forest going to work. And so we need to re-examine or examine for the first time, if we haven't done that, the range of stories we have to tell and how those prepare us for economic productivity.
Okay, well said. And of course, for the National Storytelling Day, we have as one of the featured presenters, Keisha Bowie Gomez. Hope I pronounce your first
Katia.
name correctly.
Katia.
Katia?
Katia, yes.
Okay, good. Welcome to you as well.
Good morning, Katia.
Hello.
We're looking forward to your arrival on Saturday.
All right. Katia, how did you become a storyteller? Tell us about that. Tell us the story. Katia? With us?
She
Okay.
appears.
Are you
Hello.
muted? Yes.
Greetings.
Yes, greetings.
How is everybody?
Well. How did you become a storyteller? Tell us the story.
Well, first of all, I want to let you all know that I am from the island of Providence, San Andres. And storytelling have been in our life from very early. Our parents sharing histories with us in the nights when no light was in the community. The children them gather together to hear stories from our grandparents. So from very early, storytelling is in my life. I have a mother storyteller, I have an aunt storyteller, and there is where I get all these histories to share with the people, especially with the children.
And you are based in where? Colombia?
Yes, I'm here in San Andres Island, Colombia.
Okay. And you'll be coming down this weekend to tell us some other stories, eh?
Yes, I
Dylan, you
looking
hear her
forward to
accent?
be in Jamaica tomorrow evening, so I
Yes.
can join with these wonderful people to share stories of my island. Dopey stories, Anansi stories, pirate stories.
Dr. Blackwood Meeks, is the
Yes.
art of storytelling more than just, well, telling stories?
There is an art to telling stories. There is a performance art to telling stories. But of course, you know that every single Jamaican is a performer. And so if you ever see somebody who just come from the market on a Thursday morning and they are telling you about what is available in the market and the prices of what is available in the market, you know that we are performers. But there is a way that we prepare ourselves to condense an idea within a given a given length of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. However, we have learned a wonderful phrase from our Haitian brothers and sisters who call people who are not performers, but who are so skillful at telling stories, fireside tellers. The ones that Katia just mentioned, our grandparents, whose level of artistry we cannot reach and we cannot imitate because it comes from somewhere else. But the art of performing a story is something which can be taught. It is something which I teach.
Okay, we're up on a break. We'll be right back, ladies.
Time on Love 101 is now 7:45 a.m.
It's a community event from come together as a chill vibe. So we play games and you know, so we eat food, very full. You know, so we are playing so we can show off. The taste of victory. Backyard barbecue, high school, Coca-Cola. Life gets busy. From work to play, but don't forget your health check. The NHS card now offers discounts on PSA tests and pap smears. Health check for prostate and cervical cancer. Women 21 and over get a subsidy for pap smears every 3 years. And men receive an annual subsidy for PSA tests. Get your NHF card today. The NHF is here for health. The NHF is here for you.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and it's the second watch. We're asking why tell stories. And in so doing, we have online Katia Bowie Gomez. She's a Colombian storyteller, singer, and actress. And Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks, award-winning writer, actress, and storyteller. Katia Bowie Gomez, what has been your experience over the years of being a storyteller, positively and negatively?
Well, positively, I would say we reach to the people, especially in my case, to the children, them telling a story and changing life. It has been a beautiful experience for me to go and share in these different spaces the stories of my grandparents, of my great-grandparents, so we can leave a lesson to the children. Every story come with a lesson. Every story come with consciousness. Every story is to convince of a behavior, of a negative action. So our story is accompanied by message, by life changes.
And any negative responses and experiences you want to share with us?
Well, I want to let you all know that our oral tradition is dying because this generation want to write. It is not bad. It is not bad, but our oral tradition have been with us for many years and have convinced and changed behaviors of people with the message. So we want storytelling to continue. We want oral tradition to continue. We want everybody have a story to tell, to share it. It's so necessary and important for the community, for the society.
Dr. Blackwood Meeks, tell us more about the Anansi Sound Splash in terms of when, where, who.
Okay, great. The theme for Anansi Soundsplash this year is Find Anansi, Discover Jamaica. So we're telling stories in which we're planting cues and clues, and the children are to guess where Anansi is. And in so guessing, they will discover the heritage sites of Jamaica that we're highlighting this year. I can't tell you that because the children who are listening now are going to know which heritage sites, but here is a story in Katia's accent to which I was calling attention earlier. You hear how she talk about the children, them, and this other thing and them.
Yeah, it
And
is,
she
yes.
told us that she's from San Andres. That's where the Jamaicans populate. So there is a story about where we have been. There is a story about where we have been all over Central and Latin America, putting down railroads and building roads and conducting buses. So there is a story about Jamaica's contribution to the rest of the world, and a story about how we are not as close as we ought to be with where our grandparents are, such as where Katia comes from.
Stick up in right there, Dr. Blackwood me, because I want to hear more about this Anansi stuff. But I just want to alert Katia that I'd love for her to tell us a short story at the end, right? Before we go. So prepare yourself for that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself, Katia.
Go ahead, Dr. Blackwood me. It's about
Okay, so we always open with a children's gala. And the children's gala feature the majority of the performances come from children, because we have to groom them to be the next generation. And we always celebrate International Men's Day, because our festival crosses November 19. This year, November 19, International Men's Day, coincides with the Children's Gala. So we are going to be at the Institute of Jamaica from 9 o'clock, and we are going to be telling all kinds of stories, but we are going to be celebrating the men in this Olympic year, celebrating the men who put Jamaica on the map where sports is concerned, so that this generation will know that there were people like Alan Skillcole, who will be there telling his story. There were people like Arthur Wint, whose daughter will be there telling his story. We have Nazraman and Roy Rayan, because in our music, we tell stories.
So the women were done last year, or will be done next year, or what? What's the plan in terms of that? The women athletes, not athletes, but standing
No,
individuals.
we celebrate Women's Day in March. Women's Day happens in March, and we have other activities throughout the year. It just so happens that our festival coincides in the third week of November with a number of important dates. One of them is International Men's Day, which is the 19th. Another of them is World Philosophy Day, which is the third Thursday in November. And on this World Philosophy Day, Anansi goes to college, and he goes to the Edna Manley College, where we are going to be looking at the global voice of Anansi. Is Anansi the first global citizen? How did he end up where he ended up? And what are the stories that he carried with him? And what are the lessons? And the persons who are going to be featured on this panel discussion will be Katia, her ambassador, and Professor Tunde Biwaji, who is from Nigeria, but who has a very developed theory and life experience about who Anansi is and his importance to the societies in which he dwells.
Yes.
Wednesday is National Storytelling Day, and we chose that day deliberately because Wednesday is International Children's Day. And we want to do something to recognize UNESCO's proclamation on the rights of the child to heritage and culture. So when we petitioned for November 20 to be National Storytelling Day, we were deliberate. And then we are going to be having a discussion at the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, Jamaica Memory Bank, on that same Wednesday, about what we mean by intangible cultural heritage and how does our oral tradition fit into that, and why we need to preserve our stories, document them, and have them deposited with the memory bank. And then on Friday, Anansi goes to school. And for that, we are very thankful to the Ministry of Education, who for the last 5 years have given us permission between 12:30 and 1:30 for their students to stop what they're doing and log on to our Facebook page and our YouTube page to hear stories. All of this is free because host of
Okay.
sponsors like Jamaica Tourist Board, Tourism Enhancement Fund, Education Ministry, the Culture Ministry, Spanish Court, where Katia is going to be staying. People have just been wonderful over the years in supporting the festival and
And
helping
the
us to do what
and the venues where again?
so the
Venues,
festival
I don't.
moves. The festival moves. It's an
Okay.
8-leg festival because Anansi have 8 legs. So we start at the Institute of Jamaica. That's sweet, yo. We start at the Institute of Jamaica on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we are in all parish libraries. All parish libraries between the hours of 9 and midday will be telling stories, and Nancy's stories and stories about the heritage sites in the parish. The Jamaica Library Service is our partner in planning and executing the festival. And then on Thursday, Anansi goes to college. On Friday, Anansi goes to school, and then there are some other activities, semi-private activities that make up the 8 legs.
Okay. The 8 legs. Okay. We want to give to give Katia time now to share one of those short stories with us.
Yes.
Yeah. Go, Katia. Katia, your time. Perhaps muted.
Yes, so talking about traveling and Jamaicans, let me tell you that. Hello. Hello.
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you. She's hearing an echo. Yeah, Katia, continue, please. We're hearing you. You're live. Oh boy, we're having technical challenges at
The
this point.
connectivity is a little
Yes, go
bad.
ahead.
Traveling
Go now.
around the world.
Mm-hmm. All right. Having
Yes,
some.
talking about Jamaican and their. Yes, we're having a technical challenge right now.
Hearing you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hearing you now.
All I want to let you all, and he came from Jamaica, and he settled down in Providence until my children them generation. And we want to say thanks to you all for this calling to share, because I'm happy to be part of this great Caribbean connection. I will be traveling tomorrow very early, so I will get to Kingston in the evening, and I'm so happy and glad to share with you all.
No short story, Katia, to share with us? You have 3 minutes.
Yes. Once upon a time, when time was time, and Providence never have no light, the dopey them went wild and mad, and they had one special one when he bring it. Him never the rest at all. In spirit when they over the whole land, and when they frighten everybody, became a want to be free from and chain them. Brigadier find a way if he dream to a woman and tell him what to do for him could have be free. Then bury him, then kill him, and put him in our hole for mine a gold where never for him. But him decide to get away and be free. Brigadier, the dopey, well, when so scatter over Providence because no light never there anyway, want be free. In dream to a woman and tell him what to do. And from that day, in plan say, he when go and get freedom. In dream and tell the woman, you're going to go this spot, you're going to care 3 friend, you're going to find a rooster, you're not going to move him. You're going to do what I say, because if you don't do what I say, it's going to disappear. But we got gold for you, plenty gold for you. So you go and get the gold, and I go and get the freedom.
Are you through, Katia? Through? Okay. All right. We're interested stuff there. So that was a dopey story, Doc.
Yes, I will have plenty of duppy stories. Yes, Kathy, and all our duppies have different names. And another day we will talk about that. Why the duppies have different names.
You're going to tell dopey stories more so on the nights. Eh? You're going to tell it in broad daylight?
Yeah, we tell it in broad daylight. Okay. Duppies come out in the day too, you know. Especially now that we have electricity and duppy can't tell when it's day or when it's night. Them just appear because we finish with the darkness.
Yes. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us.
My,
It was
Oh, thank you
my,
so
my,
much for having us.
my,
and all the best. All the best.
thank you
For the
all.
event.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you. See you tomorrow, Katia. Travel
Thank you
well.
all and see you soon.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes,
Listeners,
ma'am.
For
Bye.
information and copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and our guests. Join Mr. Stokely Marshall next week as he continues to look at the issues of the day. I'm Dylan Toussaint, giving a shout out to the pastor and members of the Grace Baptist Church in Clarendon as he return to Love in the Morning.